The wise sage Vyasa had a big job to continue the Kuru family line. This task was not just a matter of family pride, but also of great political importance. The Kuru dynasty was one of the most powerful in ancient India, and its continuity was crucial for the stability of the region. Vyasa, known for his wisdom and spiritual prowess, was chosen for this monumental task because of his deep understanding of Dharma and his unwavering commitment to righteousness. King Vichitravirya died young, leaving two wives, Ambika and Ambalika, without children. The untimely death of the king plunged the kingdom into a state of mourning and uncertainty. The queens, who were still young and full of hope for the future, found themselves in a precarious position. Without an heir, their status and the future of the kingdom were at risk. The grief of losing their husband was compounded by the fear of what lay ahead for them and the kingdom. The future of the Kuru family and the kingdom of Hastinapur was uncertain. The subjects of the kingdom, who had always looked up to the royal family for guidance and protection, were now filled with anxiety. The absence of a clear successor created a power vacuum that could lead to internal strife and external threats. The stability of Hastinapur, a beacon of prosperity and justice, was now hanging by a thread. Vyasa, using an ancient tradition called niyoga, was given the task of fathering heirs to the throne. Niyoga was a practice where a chosen man, often a sage or a close relative, would father children with a widow to ensure the continuation of the family line. This practice, though controversial, was accepted in times of dire need. Vyasa, with his deep sense of duty and understanding of the greater good, agreed to perform this sacred duty. He had children with the widowed queens. The process was not just a physical act, but a deeply spiritual and ritualistic one. Vyasa approached this task with the utmost reverence, understanding the gravity of his actions. The queens, though initially hesitant, accepted their roles in this divine plan, hoping to bring forth heirs who would restore the glory of the Kuru dynasty. Ambika, scared, closed her eyes tight. The experience was overwhelming for her, filled with fear and uncertainty. Her reaction was a mix of grief, duty, and the unknown future. This act of closing her eyes, though seemingly small, had significant consequences for the child she would bear. This led to the birth of Dhritarashtra, a blind prince. Dhritarashtra's blindness was seen as a direct result of Ambika's fear and her closed eyes during the ritual. Despite his blindness, Dhritarashtra was a strong and capable individual, but his inability to see was a significant the physical balance of perception. Ambalika, terrified, turned very pale. Her fear and anxiety during the ritual were palpable, and this intense emotional state affected the child completely. The physical manifestation of her fear was a pale However, Pandu grew up to be a determined and skilled one, overcoming his physical limitations through sheer willpower and dedication. His journey was one of resilience and strength, proving that one's destiny is not solely determined by their birth. A maidservant, who later became a third wife, gave birth to Vidura, a very wise and good boy. Vidura's birth was unique, as he was born to a maidservant, yet he possessed wisdom and virtue that surpassed many of royal blood. His presence in the royal family brought a different perspective, one that was grounded in humility and deep understanding of Dharma. The birth of these three sons brought both happiness and worry. While the continuation of the family line was a cause for celebration, the circumstances of their births and the challenges they faced were sources of concern. The royal family was now a mix of joy and apprehension as they navigated the complexities of their new reality. The family line would continue, but their births had problems. Each son, with his unique challenges, represented a different aspect of the human condition. Dhritarashtra's blindness, Pandu's frailty, and Vidura's mixed heritage were all obstacles that needed to be addressed. The royal family had to find ways to support and guide these young princes, ensuring that they could fulfill their destinies despite their initial disadvantages. Dhritarashtra, born blind, couldn't be king. His blindness was seen as a significant impediment to his ability to rule effectively. In a time when physical presence and the ability to lead in battle were crucial for a king, Dhritarashtra's blindness was a major drawback. Despite his other qualities, this physical limitation prevented him from ascending the throne. Pandu, though good at fighting, was seen as weak. His initial frailty and pale complexion made others doubt his ability to lead. However, Pandu's determination and skill in combat gradually earned him respect. He worked tirelessly to prove himself, overcoming his physical limitations through hard work and perseverance. His journey was one of constant struggle and triumph, showcasing the power of resilience. Vidura, the wisest, couldn't be king because his mother was a maidservant. Despite his wisdom and virtue, Vidura's birth to a maidservant placed him in a lower social standing. In the rigid hierarchy of the time, this was an insurmountable barrier to kingship. However, Vidura's wisdom and counsel were invaluable to the royal family, and he played a crucial role in guiding his brothers and the kingdom. This is the beginning of a story about ambition, duty, and fate. The births of Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura set the stage for a complex narrative filled with ambition, duty, and the interplay of fate. Each prince, with his unique qualities and challenges, would play a pivotal role in the unfolding drama of the Kuru dynasty. The problems of their births would mix with human nature, leading to a big fight that would decide the future of the kingdom and the empire. The story of the Kuru dynasty is one of epic proportions, where the personal struggles of its members intertwine with the larger fate of the kingdom. The challenges faced by Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura would ultimately lead to a great conflict, shaping the destiny of Hastinapur and leaving a lasting legacy in the annals of history. Who would be king? This was the burning question that echoed through the grand halls of the Kuru court. The kingdom of Hastinapur, with its rich history and legacy, needed a ruler who could uphold its honor and lead its people with wisdom and strength. This was a big question for the Kuru court. The advisors and elders gathered, their faces etched with concern and contemplation. The decision was not just about choosing a king, it was about securing the future of the kingdom. Dhritarashtra, the oldest, couldn't rule because he was blind. Despite his wisdom and experience, his blindness was seen as a significant impediment. The court feared that a blind king might not be able to lead the kingdom effectively, especially in times of war and crisis. Pandu, the second son, despite being a bit weak, seemed like the best choice. He was thoughtful and had a keen sense of justice. The court saw potential in him, believing that with the right guidance, he could grow into a capable ruler. He was strong, a good archer and warrior, and people liked him. His skills in archery and combat were well known, and he had earned the respect of the soldiers and the common people alike. His popularity was a significant factor in the court's decision. After talking, the court decided to make Pandu king of Hastinapur. The coronation ceremony was a grand affair, with priests chanting sacred hymns and the royal family in attendance. The air was thick with anticipation and hope. It was a big celebration. The entire kingdom rejoiced, with festivities lasting for days. There were grand feasts, music and dance, as the people welcomed their new king with open hearts and high expectations. Pandu, young and excited, became king, promising to be good and fair. He addressed his subjects with enthusiasm, vowing to protect them and ensure justice. His words were met with cheers and applause as the people placed their trust in their new ruler. He was a good king, making the kingdom bigger and earning the people's trust. Under his rule, Hastinapur flourished. He expanded the kingdom's territories and strengthened its defenses, ensuring peace and prosperity for his people. He was a great warrior, winning many battles. His prowess on the battlefield was unmatched, and his victories brought glory to Hastinapur. The tales of his bravery and strategic acumen spread far and wide, solidifying his reputation as a formidable king. But people still remembered he was seen as weak when he was born. Despite his achievements, there were whispers and doubts among some courtiers. They couldn't forget the initial perception of his weakness, and this shadow lingered over his reign. The kingdom did well, but fate had other plans. Hastinapur thrived under Pandu's rule, but destiny had a different path laid out for him. the prosperity of the kingdom was about to be overshadowed by unforeseen events. Something was about to happen that would change Pandu's life and start the events that would lead to the great war of the Mahabharata. The air grew heavy with tension as dark clouds of fate began to gather on the horizon, signaling the beginning of a tumultuous era. It was time for the princes to get married, which was important for the family. The royal family was abuzz with excitement and anticipation. Marriages in royal families were not just personal unions, but also strategic alliances that could strengthen political ties and ensure peace and prosperity. The grandeur of the ceremonies reflected the significance of these unions, and for making friends with other kingdoms. The exchange of gifts and pleasantries was a crucial part of these ceremonies, symbolizing goodwill and mutual respect. These alliances were meticulously planned, with every detail carefully considered to ensure the best possible outcomes for the kingdoms involved. Dhritarashtra, even though he wasn't king, was still important. His wisdom and leadership were highly valued, and his role in the royal family was significant. Despite his blindness, he had earned the respect and admiration of many through his intellect and strength of character. He was going to marry Gandhari, a princess from Gandhara. Gandhari was renowned for her beauty, grace, and intelligence. Her marriage to Dhritarashtra was seen as a union of two powerful and respected families, promising a bright future for both. Gandhari was known for being religious and a good person. Her devotion to her faith and her virtuous nature made her a beloved figure in her kingdom. She was often seen performing religious rituals and offering prayers, seeking blessings for her family and her people. When she learned Dhritarashtra was blind, she made a big decision. This news was unexpected and challenging, but Gandhari's resolve was unwavering. She believed in the power of love and loyalty, and she was determined to stand by her future husband, no matter the obstacles. To show her love and loyalty, she covered her own eyes, choosing to be blind like her husband. This act of solidarity was both symbolic and profound. It demonstrated her commitment to Dhritarashtra and her willingness to share in his challenges. Her decision was met with awe and admiration by those around her. Everyone admired her for this, and she became known as a great wife. Her selflessness and dedication set a powerful example for others. Gandhari's choice was celebrated as an act of true love and devotion, earning her a place of honor in the hearts of her people. But this also made her feel a little sad and insecure. The weight of her decision began to take its toll. While she was revered for her sacrifice, the reality of living in darkness brought its own set of challenges. Gandhari often found herself lost in thought, grappling with feelings of isolation and uncertainty. Being blind reminded her that her husband wasn't seen as perfect. This constant reminder of Dhritarashtra's blindness weighed heavily on her heart. She struggled with the knowledge that, despite their love, society viewed them through a lens of imperfection. This perception created an undercurrent of sadness in their lives. This choice, though made out of love, would cause problems later. The complexities of their relationship began to surface, revealing the unintended consequences of Gandhari's decision. Her inner conflict grew as she balanced her love for Dhritarashtra with the challenges they faced together. It would affect her relationship with Dhritarashtra, her children, and the fight that would happen in the Kuru family. The ripple effects of her choice extended beyond her marriage, influencing her interactions with her children and the dynamics within the Kuru family. The tensions that arose would eventually play a role in the larger conflicts that shaped their destiny. Pandu was going to marry Kunti, the adopted daughter of King Kunti Bhoja, in a grand ceremony. Kunti was smart, beautiful, and had a secret that no one knew. When she was young, a wise man named Durvasa gave her a special and unique gift. She could call upon any god and have his child, a divine blessing. Kunti kept this a secret from everyone. She didn't know how much it would change her life and the fate of the Kuru family. Kunti married Pandu and became queen. She kept her secret hidden. She didn't know that this special gift would be the only way for the Kuru family to continue its legacy.